is Margaret in Windsor. I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama. Given the name of the twin, Peggy Dempsey Childers was my married name. Both twins were dead. It was a pigsty. Unreal, the hell I went through. But I want to skip to, I did a book in medical malpractice, book 77, 78, and it included mind control, what can be done with it, program people to run out and shoot, or do anything. Make deaths appear of natural cause like suicide, create cancer, you can cure it, all these things. You wouldn't need the medical research and all this you've got going today. That, and now I'm going to skip to, ran in a political campaign in 83 to replace one of the doctors, oddly enough, I'd written about, Larry McDonald, U.S. Congressional Congress, he was U.S. Congress, House of Representatives from 7th District in Georgia. And when his plane went down, I became a candidate and to replace him, and I was flown out to Larry Flint's Bel-Air home twice because the man who had shot Larry Flint in Lawrenceville in 78 had been programmed. So now that I'm going to put that away for a minute and go to what was done to me, I had to come to Roanoke, Virginia, October the 20th, I believe it was, of 86. I have an immune disorder. I get near certain chemicals I'm allergic to, industrial or some household, and my immune system attacks it. And the only way to stop it is to literally get away from the fumes or whatever's causing it. And if that happens to be something that's been done deliberately to me, and it has, and it's your home, or in my case, a tent I lived in on the Appalachian Trail and froze when I was lucky enough to have a tent, and my sleeping bag, they actually would throw fuel or anything on it. It's the most preposterous thing that it was allowed to happen. If it had been Germany or Great Britain, why, you would have had everybody on it. The press wouldn't have gotten enough of it. So that's been the whole thing since that time, being threatened if I didn't have a place to live, or, hey, just take me down to the rescue mission, where I showed a book on Where We Control by Lincoln Lawrence about mind control. A woman asked to borrow it that was there in the shelter. She was a resident there. So then, come to find out, I was kicked out because I was scaring those residents because I had the book. This is a legitimate book. They asked to read it. And then later, when the forest rangers were told to lock me up and put me in jail, a federal Judge Wilson, I could have gotten 6 months. I stayed a month. Then the marshals come and get me, and I'm homeless, so they take me down to the rescue mission where they'd written me up in the paper that I'm this horrible person, I can't have a place to live, that I was banned from the rescue mission for showing a book, by the way, that was the truth. So you can get the gist of a little of what's gone on. But I wanted to say everywhere I've lived, it's been done where the air conditioning would go out. It can be used as a murder weapon. It has been against me because my liver, my kidneys, the inflammation that's caused when you are deliberately placed there and have to inhale it, my whole body's torn apart. I'm 75 years old almost. I can't walk hardly. Now, then the ones and yes, I have all this, and I've put it on YouTube. Now, whether anybody, I can't get an attorney, because all this stuff would expose who I am and what the Americans have done and are doing to me. and part of my family, I might say, the Windsors, Elizabeth and her dad, George. I put this in prior tapes. My point at the moment is my health is so bad, and what it does to me when I'm around chemicals that are deliberately put here, I should be able to go most places and be just fine. It makes my life a living hell. Um, so I'm going to focus on the Section 8, which is HUD. I shouldn't even say, I'm who I am. The day I was born, I should have been the wealthiest person about. Instead, I'm a pauper over here. I can't even sue for the crimes committed against me. They're ongoing. But these are federal, and I wanted to say Edinburgh Square. I went there in '06. I suffered through 6 months of it. Hell, where they deliberately gassed me the whole 9 yards. So I broke the lease legally. I had a letter from my doctor, plus, I mean, they knew they were doing it to me, and they lied. So I have been put in the position, the next one was Richfield, Section 8, which is really a nice place. I was only able to stay there 3 months. Now they're sucking up fumes that are killing you. They're breaking my veins, liver, kidneys, I said it, heart, lungs, and everybody's pretending it doesn't happen. Or they will, if you pursue it, well, we'll just haul you off and say you're nuts and haul you off and handcuff you, and, oh, believe me, they would do it. So the next one was in Bedford, nearby here, Virginia. And it was a black minister from out of Washington, North Carolina, Moore and Associates. So here I managed to stay 7 months of hell. And they even brought in a retired Navy SEAL as maintenance. So I moved back to Roanoke, hoping the next place would be where I could breathe. And you have to get away from it, remember. So I put on here about a Virginia State Trooper, Carl Barton, his wife, telling me that's how they run me, since they made my word no good. So now then I've had to go back to places where I've had to leave that these people should have been locked up. They assaulted me with chemicals that are killing me. They're guilty of conspiring. There's so many laws involved, it's unreal, and so many people got in on it. So if someone were looking at it from not really caring, too, they'd think, well, lady, all this couldn't have happened to you. Well, yeah, it did. It is happening. Now, I wanted to end it with this. I had to go back to Edinburgh because I can't get a place to stay, to live. And then their thing is, well, I broke the lease. Of course, they're leaving out all the chemicals, all the why I had to leave, and pretending it never happened. So they told me that, well, they really didn't have anything for 5 years. 5 years, nobody was going to die. Well, all these people are my age or older, most of them, so that somebody's going to die. But here's the deal. A few weeks later, they've called me back today, Jennifer, who's the manager, and Donna. These people totally knew what happened to me. She calls me back, and she plays games with it. Well, they have one, and then she calls me back 10 minutes later and says, well, no, she forgot the lease, I broke the lease. So you get me into begging for a place to stay. Then she says, well, how can you be sure it won't happen again? Well, that's the point. Unless, because the cops are telling them to do it, and by the way, the agency that's doing it is the one doing the mind control murders, the FBI, go ahead and say it. So they've made me look like a nut. They've broken every law, and my life is a living hell. So what else can I say? Tomorrow I'm supposed to go look at it, this one that suddenly come open, to these women who are still there that knew what was happening to me, and yeah, it would happen again. So I would be going and signing another lease, praying things would be better, or that I'm able to go home and this whole thing exposed. And how do you lock up all these people? How do you make them pay for the pain and suffering that they've done to me?